Polo asked a very amazing question on life safety as we're talking about permit sets. When I explained that it should be from the most remote location, his instinct is do that and do that. What if the fire started there? What if the fire started at the door? Are you gonna do that?
No.
You're gonna go from here to there. Yeah. You have to pick the most remote and difficult location. Always. You don't pick the closest location. No. You pick the most remote location. Because that's, again, you can get out from here very easily if the fire started here. But if the fire started here, you're gonna have to go that way. How long is that? How difficult is it? Do we have the clearances on the corridor? Do we have the safety to get there? That's the most important thing. So make sure you engrave that in the brain and understand it, okay? Read these little pieces 20 times until you understand what they mean, and you see the term a smoke alarm is what's used right here. I personally have been teaching people wrong. I keep saying detectors. It's smoke alarms. For single family, 1 and 2 family, typically smoke alarms. Multifamily and commercial projects, those are smoke detectors and things like that, okay? So that's that. So I don't want to confuse you. I want you to do that one, okay? Or that one, okay? So you know what I mean. So life safety is all about life safety. You know, make sure that the titles are correct, that the order of the drawings are correct, you know, that things are clear and very well distinguished. These items need to be always updated. I always try to teach people that this needs to be updated so that it doesn't say 3/4 of an inch equals 0. It should relate to the drawings that you're looking at. You know, we got to make sure that the Project North is correct. Wow, by the way, this concept of Project North is actually incorrect. There's two things. There is True North and there is Project North. All right, so if a building is like this and north is like that, you always want to make sure the north points up. You orient your building straight, show True North, and then do Project North. That way it's in order. This is a little bit convoluted. You probably wouldn't understand that 100%. Eventually it will make sense. But it's the idea that we want buildings to be orthogonal for design purposes and construction document purposes. Makes sense. Revit doesn't like it at an angle anyway. So nobody likes it at an angle. But we want to make sure that we remain loyal to what Truth North is and what Project North is. This is often wrong because it's actually showing True North. I've been trying to teach this for a long time, but time is very limited for me. And often I don't have everybody at the same time, and I don't want to kind of repeat myself because it gets annoying. So I'm explaining it to you here on this video, and I hope whoever watches this video also pays attention to that. True North and Project North are two different things, okay? We should create a new one that shows True North, and maybe we say TN, and then Project North, and then we say PN, and then we go into our legends on the second sheet, T sheet, and add a thing that says this is True North, this is Project North. They're both important. They're important also for design purposes. Where's the sun coming from? Where's the light coming from? Things like that. It's for orientation purposes, very important. So a 1/8 of an inch existence, I will take it. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a lot on one sheet, but I think it's well put together, so I will take it. I often like things at 1/4, but I think for existence, this should be fine. This looks really good. I have no issues with it. What I do have issues with, I would like this line to be darker and to match. So make sure that we make sure these lines are always the darkest line and matching. Let's always work on our line work. I see that you did put a bit of effort on that. Thank you for that. I really appreciate what you did on that. Another thing I like doing is often doing a dimension string. And it's not to actually do a dimension, it's just say area of work. I don't even do the dimension, right? And then existing. So that way, anybody quickly knows, hey, listen, this is the area of work, this is what they're focusing on right now. I do it everywhere, okay? Another thing I do, elevation targets and markers do not show up on the second floor. That will be floating in space. They actually should show up on the first floor. They don't exist on the second floor, they're floating. They're supposed to be sitting on the floor looking at the building in an elevation, okay? So that's one thing I would do. I force and enforce, I'll continue in the next video now.